Today's update from Zwift in January 2021 sees them include steering support for the Wahoo Kickr bike. Now previously, to access steering in-game, you needed to use the companion app or the Elite Smart steering block, making the Kickr bike the first smart bike to take advantage of in-game steering. But there's a few things you need to know first, and here are the details. First up, it's Bluetooth only, so over Ant Plus this just does not work at all. So supported across all platforms as long as you are paired via Bluetooth. Now it pairs automatically as the steering device when you select the Kickr bike as the controllable trainer. So you can pair power, cadence, but it's only when you pair the controllable that it pops up there over on the left. You can also enable or disable that. So if you're not into steering at all and you don't want it, one simple click and you will not have steering. Everything goes back to how it was prior to this update. Now this gives you access to the lane selection style steering. So on Zwift, it's not free world steering. In the rest of the world, the mountain bike course on Repack Ridge is. This allows you to just select the lane you want to be in and it will stick you in that lane. Onto how it all works, and a disclaimer here that there's no technical documentation on this whatsoever. Just a few lines on the changelog from Zwift. Everything else has been figured out down in the Llama lab. So the buttons on the inside of each lever on the handlebars will steer you left and steer you right. It's as simple as that. Press and hold will continue to veer you across the road. If you're using the Campag profile, you're a little out of luck. Or if you like random parties, go for your life and use this, because you'll both steer and change gears at the same time. Probably best not to do that, it gets a little confusing. Press and hold will veer you across the lanes as long as there's nobody blocking you. So in Zwift with the steering, if there's a rider there, you can't ride through a rider, you'll collide. In a big bunch, you pretty much can't go anywhere until you're off the front or off the back of the bunch. So if you're looking at a race to choose your race line, there needs to be open air either side. Now you'll also have a steering wheel next to your name with the Kickr bike with steering enabled, just as you do with the Zwifters Smart, to let other people know that you are steering and you may be veering around chopping their wheel. And similar to the Zwifters Smart, the steering mode with the Kickr bike works in free ride mode, so just dropping into Zwift and maybe route badge hunting or riding by yourself, it'll work as expected. If you're doing an event, the event needs to have steering enabled. Some don't, so watch for that. Okay, here I am in the Llama lab about to pair everything up and go for a ride with the C Cadence bunch, formerly known as Coco Cadence. Okay, it's picked up the Kickr bike straight away and the controllable Kickr bike. Go. It pops up the steering over there on the left. Okay, heart rate, which is the ticker, on, and Watopia Pace Partners, C Cadence, next, ride with C, and away we go. Okay, steering options come up under the FutureWorks banner, so still listed as FutureWorks with all the details there. We can't steer into other riders. Needs to be clear, and each rider produces a draft, etc. We go okay on that, and here we are. Can't go left, can go right, because it's clean air. Can go left, pick the hole. I am weaving through the bunch there, I'm actually finding a few lines. Okay, that's working as expected. Now, initial impressions here, it feels a little cramped with my thumbs. My natural position on the hoods is to jam my hands in so I can access the gears. And my thumb is a little higher than where the button is back a little bit, so it just feels a little cramped. There we go, I can get out of the draft of absolutely everybody. Jump back in. Actually, it's picking a good line through the bunch there, so I'm quite surprised. Maybe in a few updates since this initially came out with new Zwifters Smart. Passing through the bunch, looking good. Alrighty, pick an easier line through here. I feel like I'm cocking my wrists a bit unnaturally to access those buttons. But all in all, working as expected. A little bit of collision detection happening there. I can't go left, but I can pick those shorter lines through there. One thing of note, in the drops, you can't access the buttons. It's impossible. So if you're sprinting, you're not going to be able to pick a line. Very limited in that respect. Quick touches don't really disturb the line. So if you're doing an all-out effort, you're not going to swerve off or veer. You really have to push that button to make it work. And you can see there on the rider list that I do have the steering icon, so people know why. The Lama Fro is being a little crazy in picking lines. That's really about it. I do think it would get a bit tiring with the physical setup, as I said, with my wrists. It's feeling a bit weird. I might need to look at the bar type or the angle of the levers, but I don't want to make it too different to my outside bike. This is set up like that, so, Okay, wrapping this one up for today. So my take on this, it's an interesting implementation, and the buttons are not really in the best position for my size hands and the bar setup. It's going to take some getting used to if I'm going to be using that quite often. There's also been no indication from Zwift on support for steering on any other smart bike. So the SB20, the Neo bike, the Atom, etc. No word as yet, so nothing to report there. Something else that's quite interesting though is that the Kickr bike does have enough room to give you swiveling handlebars. So with some interesting engineering, I'm sure that could be an option on either this bike as an upgrade or future bikes for Zwift. It would really get around that no steering when sprinting issue. So my overall impressions was, it's good to have these buttons being used, but I don't think it's the best implementation. For my hand size and everything set up, it was just too crampy, and doing a swervy course or trying to pick the best line all the time, I was always on the buttons, and it was just a bit uncomfortable. I'd love to see the option to make those buttons just junction turns. So as you come up to a T intersection, that way to go that way to go that way, and then I just put the focus on pushing on the pedals and getting my workout done. That'd be much more convenient. All in all, I do welcome changes like this, which further integrates the hardware and the software we already own for a better experience. This, as you saw, was just a bit of a different experience. There's a long way to go with these smart bikes, especially when it comes to user configuration with gearing and button options that we could have on these bikes. If you're a Kickr bike owner and have used the steering, let me know below in the comments how you get on. I'm keen to hear. Thanks for watching.